I'm sure you've heard before that you shouldn't rely on a single source of income. I learned this lesson quite a long time ago, and I've tried to live my life not being reliant on a single source. Because what if, just what if that single source of income goes away overnight, which it absolutely can. So recently, one of my streams of income basically dried up. This is a stream that I talk to you guys about on this YouTube channel, which is my e-commerce business. And with the coronavirus that is now going around, my e-commerce business has been severely impacted. And I've been thinking to myself, what if my e-commerce business was my only source of income? What would I be doing now? I wouldn't be able to take care of myself, and I wouldn't be able to take care of my family. And that is why I've always been imploring you to make sure that you create different streams of income. Because if a stream of income goes away overnight, which it absolutely can, it can absolutely wreck you and wreck your family. So this is a message to you to make sure that you put some focus on creating a side hustle, creating side income, to make sure that you have several streams of income. In the event that one of those streams of income dries up, you don't fall flat on your face. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my story, what happened to me as it relates to my e-commerce business, how the coronavirus has been impacting me, what happened, and maybe you can learn a few lessons from that as to why you need to create multiple streams of income. So for the past 5.5 years that we've been running this private label e-commerce socks company, we have never had an issue as it relates to getting inventory and being able to meet our customers' expectations as it relates to fulfilling orders, etc. until recently. So with the breakout of the coronavirus in China, as you can imagine, it severely impacted our manufacturing plant, and we have not been able to get orders as we usually would. So based on the nature of our small company, we rely on just-in-time inventory, which means that we try to place an order once per month and place frequent orders to keep up with the demand in our products. But we have not been able to get any inventory since December, and this has severely impacted how we operate as a company. So the inventory that we had coming into December 2019 has completely run out, and we spoke to our suppliers in China, and we have not been able to get any form of inventory, and probably won't be able to get any inventory for the foreseeable future as long as coronavirus continues to spread and there continues to be an outbreak in China. So manufacturing is completely shut down in the specific region of China that our manufacturer is, and this has severely impacted us. So I'm going to be talking a bit more about the supplier related issue, but before I get into that, I want to make you aware that I'm going to be sharing with you 4 lessons that we have learned that we think will be quite helpful for you if you're planning to get into private labeling and planning to start importing products from China to sell. So as I sit here today, March 7th, 2020, and I record this video, at this time, currently, I'm not really sure what will happen to our business going forward. We're quite hopeful that we get the coronavirus under control pretty soon, so things can get back to normal in China, so we can actually start getting back our inventory and revive our business. But right now, we don't have any inventory. We still continue to get DMs. We still continue to get a lot of messages of people inquiring about our products, but we're just not able to fulfill those products at this time. And yes, we have explored different suppliers in China, but the answers coming out of these manufacturers and other suppliers in China is the same answer that we've been getting from our supplier. Manufacturing is completely shut down. They don't have any backup inventory, so they can actually start supplying us. So now I want to get into some of the lessons that we have learned as business owners that we think that you can benefit from and you should benefit from, because these are lessons that we will implement in our business going forward should we revive our socks company after coronavirus has subsided. So the first lesson that I want to share with you is that when you're running a private label company, never get complacent. You should always be looking to diversify your suppliers. If we had looked into diversifying our suppliers when things were running smoothly, at this point in time, we may still be able to get supply from that other supplier that would have made contact with and formed some relationship with. So let's say, for example, we had reached out to suppliers in a different region, perhaps in the United States, perhaps in India, for example. Then those regions are not severely impacted by coronavirus, and manufacturing is still basically normal in these regions, which means we would still be able to get inventory to be able to continue our company's day-to-day operations as normal. But because we didn't diversify suppliers, we got complacent. Things have been going smoothly for 5.5 years. We didn't expect this, and this is what happened. So if you're just getting into private labeling, I highly recommend that you look to getting and engaging with suppliers from different regions. Just in case one of your suppliers is impacted or a region is impacted, your business is not completely impacted. The second very big lesson that we have learned that I think is worth sharing in this video so you can benefit from is that you should diversify your business. And let me explain exactly why that is important and why you should consider diversifying your business. So in our current e-commerce business, we basically rely on a single product. If you're aware of our business, you know that we sell one main product. So if that product is not available to us to sell, then you know exactly the implications of that. If we had diversified our business and started selling additional products, perhaps products that we can source locally or create locally or source from another supplier as well, then we could still have our business up and running, as we'd still have something to sell. But because we didn't spend time to diversify this brand and to diversify the business, we were solely relying on a single product from a single supplier. And as you can see, these are the effects of not diversifying our business. So once you have your business up and running, which I highly recommend that you start with a single brand and a single product, but once that is off the ground, I highly recommend you start diversifying that business. If we had diversified our business, as I mentioned earlier, business would not be as severely impacted as it is now. So make sure you take this lesson quite seriously. The third lesson that I want to share with you that I think will be of major help to you, especially if you run a business of similar nature to us where you rely on inventory coming in from another country, then I highly recommend that you plan at least 6 months into the future and keep inventory on hand if you possibly can. So if we were planning 6 months ahead back in late November, early December, when we first learned about our coronavirus breaking out in China, then we would have known to actually order enough inventory to last us at least 6 months to 9 months in the future. But because we got so complacent, we didn't plan ahead. And if we had planned ahead, we would now have inventory to sell. Of course, we don't know how long coronavirus will be impacting us, and it would be impossible to know that it will last 6 or 9 months or a year and be able to plan inventory for that time. But at least plan 6 months ahead, and that should give you enough time at least to be able to find another supplier or to find another product to sell should you lose that supplier or lose that product that your business rely on. But we didn't plan ahead. We didn't plan 6 months into the future, and as you can see, this is the impact it is having on us. So I know that if you're just starting out, it will be almost impossible for you to be planning 6 months into the future, as most of you guys who are starting out don't have a lot of money to be able to secure that kind of inventory. But for you guys who have the money and have been in business for a while, I highly recommend that you start planning at least 6 months into the future. And lastly, but definitely not the least important lesson that we have learned that I want to share with you in this video is the lesson that I started off this video with, and that is you should never rely on a single source of income. If this e-commerce business was my only source of income at this point in time, I would be very devastated and I would be panicking right now, as I wouldn't know exactly where to turn. But because I have multiple streams of income, though that is a significant portion of my income, I am not severely impacted and I'm not panicking. So I highly recommend and I implore you to start creating other sources of income just in case something similar happens to you. If you're in the e-commerce space, you can actually start doing e-commerce coaching. You can help people to market their own e-commerce business. You can actually start creating content for other people. There are so many different ways that you can actually create income as a spin-off from your e-commerce business. So make sure you start exploring those avenues. All right, so there you have it, guys. I really do hope you found a lot of value in this video. If you did, please drop a like on this video. If you have any questions, and I would really love to hear from you regarding this coronavirus, please jump in the comment section below. And if you want to support what I'm doing here, please get subscribed to my channel. And if you're subscribed, I will see you in my next video.